Alright, so both players have just sat down to join us in the stream area. This should be a very exciting matchup. I know that Jack Hunter has certainly practiced for the Sonic matchup, given how many Sonics are in the UK, especially when we know that Ixis is always an overwhelming threat to be practiced for when it comes to bracket and so on. So I'm sure that Jack Hunter is going into this prepared, and I'm very curious how Aperture will fare against the Sheik. I'm sure also Aperture is prepared though, because he has of course had a really great showing recently over in the US during Nairo Saga. Now I'm not sure every single set he's played during Nairo Saga, but of course he got so far that he got to a point that he started to fight Tweak and Anti during the tournament, and actually succeeded in defeating them. So clearly he must have beaten a few Sheiks along the way to get to those key two moments to then eventually take them out. So let's see what kind of counterplay we get from both players coming into this. See, Aperture isn't afraid to move all around the stage and make the most of the space that's been given to him. Sheik rushing in for a grab, but whiffs it. Both players seem to constantly be controlling and switching up the pressure on each other. No one player is necessarily standing out completely right now, but at the same time, percentage-wise, there's a different story to be told, of about 30% or so far, in favor of Aperture. Jack Hunter looking to set something up, trying to keep Sonic off stage. He knows that with such wide and tall blast zones, he needs to make the most of his kill setups and perhaps pull something off close to the blast zones rather than in center stage. Aperture still just zooming in and out, making his way back and forth, knowing that as long as he attacks in the right kind of ways, he can't be punished too heavily for what he's doing. Both players seem to know the matchup so well. You can just tell that at every moment they just flash their shields, sometimes only holding their shields for like a half second or so. And they always seem to capitalize on shielding the right moments while still getting their frame data back in control and being able to move around again and throw out attacks again. It really is a testament to how great both these players are, to know that despite so much action going on, you can see they're just both constantly making inputs. Although reads can still be had, and as we saw just there, Jack Hunter got stuck on the left side of the stage and then caught by an F smash from Sonic. Sometimes the most basic of reads is all you need to get the advantage in any matchup. Jack Hunter retaliating with the up air kill. Making great uses of his short hops. Tomahawking close by to his opponent, as well as just finding his comfort zone, fading in and fading out, and looking for the right moments to attack. It's something that I always seem to notice with the better Sheiks. They love to just short hop and just try to find the right moment, the right setup to go in. And then when they go in hard. They just keep pushing. Oh, and Jack Hunter going for the F-tilt, hoping to rack up some guaranteed damage. F-tilt, down tilt, etc. Trying to rack up some guaranteed damage, but it was not meant to be. It hits the shield. Aperture playing very strong game right now. Seemingly outclassing Jack Hunter right now, but a player such as Mr. Hunter can definitely bring this back still. Up until recently, I believe Jack Hunter is the one to typically place very well in tournaments, with Aperture also placing well, but not necessarily quite as high. But now it seems like it's a much more different story. The evolution of Sonic has definitely taken place this summer here in the UK. A lot of dangerous Sonics getting very far in the last few tournaments. Back throw, it doesn't kill, it's not going to kill. I think really that was just down to the spacing on the stage. The percentage looked like it might have worked out in Aperture's favor and netted him the kill, but the spacing wasn't just quite to the right enough. And as I say that, Jack Hunter manages to find just the right spacing, and he takes that game 1. We cannot sleep on either player this far into the bracket. In fact, honestly, we can't sleep on a lot of the players in this venue right now, because we have quite a few European guests who aren't ready to give up and go back home just yet. Gluttony may have returned home, he may not be with us today. The same goes for Saive. I don't see him here either today, but there's a lot of Europeans who are still hungry. They're still thirsty, they're still out for blood. British blood, to be specific. However, the Brits also are salty, and as we see right now in this Brit versus Brit matchup, both players, Jack Hunter and Vodkacher, aka Aperture, are bringing their best to the table. They want to make up for their performances in Albion 2. They both did, from what I understand, they both did well in the tournament, but it's just something where you always got to have a bit more. If you didn't get first place and you're a good player and you got that hunger, you always got to push for that little bit more. And a tournament like this, taking place only 24 hours, this weekly taking place only 24 hours after Albion 2, definitely proves that the hunger is real tonight. Nobody has had much rest yet. Jack Hunter with the excellent pressure against Aperture off stage, but Aperture manages to come back, make it back to the center. The percentage always seems to be against Jack Hunter and his Sheik. He always seems to be the one that eats the extra 60% or 30%, always seems to be ahead in terms of receiving damage. But at the same time, he took the first game, so he clearly knows what he's doing. He knows that he has to be patient against Sonic, Aperture Sonic. And the thing is, with a character like that, they can have the percentage lead, but of course that's only natural when they're playing such a hit and run style. And you really have to think clearly and without distraction, because once distraction seeps into your mind, that's when you actually drop the stocks and not just fall behind percentage-wise. And we see right here, Jack Hunter is not distracted at all. He's now going toe-for-toe. The percentages are very, very close. Okay, maybe he just dropped that stock there with the Sonic back throw, but I believe, especially on a stage like this, Talon City, with the low ceiling blast zone and the narrow left and right blast zones, it's very doable for him still. This is, he's in a comfortable position. He just needs to get a few more hits, get some kind of setup, and in addition to that, he won the first game, so you know, I'm sure he's very, very relaxed at the moment. He's used to playing at this kind of level. He was getting a lot of practice during Albion. I actually watched him playing, I think, for 1 or 2 hours at a time over in the friendlies area. So I know that someone like Jack Hunter, he's put in the work, and he's prepared to focus, to stay calm, and just use his experience in all these matchups to net him at each and every set in this bracket. So Aperture will have to fight just to get his very first game right now in the set. Lots of shielding and backing out from Aperture, very wise gameplay there. He knows he is the hit and run style of character, and he can't afford to just rush in directly without any kinds of mix-ups. He is not a combo character as Sheik is, so he has to play very wisely, very carefully, and preempt what attacks are coming at him. Forward throw from Sheik doesn't connect to the bouncing fish, but throws out a second one with no hesitation whatsoever. Now Jack Hunter is on the same stock, but he is at a 108% deficit. So of course, where does he go to? He goes to his needles. Needles are tried and true way, just like any projectile in the game, any faster projectile, to get a bit of free damage in the wider range neutral. However, 11% isn't quite going to cut it. We are going to need a bit more than that, Jack Hunter. What are you going to do? Are you going to get that clean 2-0? Or is Aperture going to get a decisive victory over you right now in this game too? We get the roll recovery. Aperture knows that he can mix up into that roll, a rarely used recovery option by high-level players. He can mix up into that because he's at low percent. His roll won't lag the extra bit that little bit extra as a high percentage roll might do. Interesting fact there. And in addition to that, you know, he's got to go for those weird mix-ups because he's got the confidence to spare for that. He can manage getting hit here and there, and he might just throw off his opponent by being extra weird. As I say that though, back throw again. It didn't take the game 1. It did take a stock in game 1, but now in game 2, it's sealed off that second game for him, and we are at a 1-1. Lots of mix-ups from both players in this set so far. I especially love the double bouncing fish from Jack Hunter. That's the kind of thing that like a scrubby player, no matter what character, so a scrubby Sheik, a scrubby anything, would kind of do. A scrubby player loves to just kind of repeat options over and over. That's why in rock, paper, scissors, like, you never want to go rock twice, for example, because you're just going to get red, right? At least in terms of mind game layer 1, you're going to get red. But Jack Hunter proving there that sometimes repeating the same option is what you got to do. He repeated the same option, he did the bouncing fish twice, and the second time caught Aperture off guard. Sometimes you just got to push it a little bit further, make it a little bit more crazy, and it's going to pay off. And it did pay off there, despite him not necessarily winning the set because of being at such a deficit already. So this third game, I really can't call who might win. Sometimes I am a bit ballsy and I just say, oh, this guy's going to win or that guy's going to win. Sometimes I try to call it, but I'm not sure right now. I don't know. I do not know what to say about who might take this set right now. I can only comment on what happens in each and every moment. Aperture overextending himself a bit, ends up on the top platform and receives quite a few hits, including a triple fair in the process of that scuffle. Nice fade back, fade away neutral air from Jack Hunter, but it ends up as a bit of a trade. Fourth throw into bouncing fish. Aperture, knowingly he sees it coming and he air dodges right away. I'm pretty certain, of course, a player like Jack Hunter or a player like Aperture, they're going to know all about waiting for the air dodge and then throwing out their hits. But because you're playing at this kind of level, you want to reset back to choosing the more obvious option out of a 50-50 and just basically throwing out your hitbox right away, as if you're hesitating, as if you're nervous or so on. But I'm pretty certain that neither of these players, despite being so close in this match right now, are feeling hesitant. Both are oozing confidence. They're making clean attempts to hit each other. We're not really seeing many flubs. There's been no SDs, for example, and so on. And honestly, yeah, this is the kind of gameplay where you have to be a bit wild. You have to be a bit crazy and roll on the stage sometimes. You have to throw out the bouncing fish right away sometimes. However, Jack Hunter has been throwing out the bouncing fish right away quite a lot in this game, it seems. So I'm curious, how many times is he going to do it? Is he going to pull a bit of a Daigo and just keep throwing out the option right away without a moment's thought? I mean, seemingly yes, he just did it again. Actually, no, he caught the air dodge there, didn't he? But anyway, yeah, is he going to just keep throwing it away right away? Or are we going to see him play a bit more, hold back a little bit more and wait for those air dodges? How is this going to play out right now? Also, Sonic now on his last stock, so... Oh, he dashes in with the up air, the short hop up air, and it eats 9% for that. Tries to make his way down from the platforms, manages to reset to neutral for just a flicker of a second, but he's already off stage again. What is Vodka going to do about this? Is he experiencing a hangover, perhaps? Who could tell? He is definitely going to need to bring this back soon, or his chances of taking the set are going to diminish. Nice needles coming out from Jack Hunter there. The back throw. Yeah, it's not going to kill. Not going to kill to around maybe 115% or so, especially if your opponent's going to DI it so well. But it was a bit. It definitely made us all skip a heartbeat, because I wasn't totally sure, but it did seem like something where it's not necessarily going to kill on a stage with decent blast zones like Dreamland, where you can afford to get away from a moment like that. Oh, I hope not. I hope we don't get a rage quitature. Aperture, if he can learn to hang in there and just smile through it all, you know, grit his teeth and bear it, that'll turn him from a really good player to a great player. Forward tilt to up air. There we go. From the top platform, that's heartbreaking. He must be mad about that now. Both players discussing the end of that set. Actually, both looking fairly calm, so good times were had, I guess. It was what it was.